Hello everyone, today I want to compare the patch 4.1 limited banner characters Neuvillette, Wriothesley and Venti in terms of anything combat related. To start us off, there will be a short rundown of each character individually to give you a quick impression of their gameplay, and at the end I give you my opinion on which ones to prioritize. First, Neuvillette. This one is a classic main DPS or carry, meaning he will deal most of his damage while on field. He does so by using a channeled water beam as his charge attack. My assumption is that he will feel a lot like a bow character using charge attacks as a not super mobile, so you have to position yourself well or rely on shields to avoid getting interrupted. One of his passive skills incentivizes you to run multiple types of hydro reactions, so anemo characters and Zhongli seem really strong with the Neuvillette for that reason. For the third reaction, you can go with Vaporize or Freeze with Jungling or Rosaria, for example. Bloom seems okay, but usually you want to trigger it a lot, and I'm not super confident in Neuvillette's Hydro application as of now. I guess we'll find out for sure once he is released. Next up, Wriothesley, another classic main DPS dealing his damage on field. They basically copied Yoimiya's elemental skill, so he wants to do a lot of normal attacks, but they also added some sort of HP threshold mechanic to it. His attacks drain HP and he needs to stay above 50% to gain any benefits, and to ensure that, you do the occasional charge attack to heal Wriothesley back up. Aside from that, his burst skill is pure damage. Granted, it seems to hit pretty hard. For teams, you probably look for Freeze or Melt with characters like Kazuha, Sucrose, Zhongli or Bennett for example, and to go with Melt you'd slot in Jungling, for Freeze it's gonna be Yelan or Jingqiu. One synergy that stands out is obviously Shenhe, not just for the normal attack buff, but even the burst damage buff can be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if you can make a Noblesse or Emblem set build work on Wriothesley with something like Mona in a Freeze team. For the reruns, I speeded up a little. First, Hu Tao. There's a little bit of a theme going on here. She is another main DPS, this time it's charge attacks again, and they seem to be a little divisive. Stamina management and animation cancels are probably things you need to know about, otherwise chances are high that you won't enjoy playing Hu Tao. The good thing is, she is HP scaling, so you might get some good value from Hydro Resonance with characters like obviously Yelan and Jingqiu, and who knows, there's still a Hydro Archon on the way. Speaking of Archons, last we have Venti. I would call him a sub DPS, meaning he deals a lot of damage while off field, though you could argue his ult shtick is sucking in enemies to group them up. In other words, the main reason to play him is for his utility. That also summarizes his gameplay. Whenever you're fighting groups of enemies, he feels like one of the best characters in the game by just pressing his skills, and that's it. On the other side though, if you're fighting a single boss, he does next to nothing. Alright, that covers all the characters, and if you want my recommendation, this patch has some really good ones, and I'm actually gonna be optimistic here and say Wriothesley is gonna be the best one of them. His modifiers look really impressive, and this might be a bold statement, but I can see him being a better boss killer than Ayaka. His burst skill seems really strong as well, and on top of that he has crazy normal attacks. What else can you ask for from a main DPS? This sounds like incoming power creep to me. Next we have Venti. I don't think there's much left to say at this point. He has been in the game since the very beginning, and he is still the best at just killing hordes of small monsters with the press of a single button. That's obviously a little situational and usually not as important as killing bosses fast, I'd say, which is why he's second. Nonetheless, he's a great character. Next we have Neuvillette. I'm having a hard time gauging his damage without ever playing him, though he has so many modifiers that again I'll be carefully optimistic for now. Though I am a little skeptical on how his teams will turn out to be, since I have actually no clue how his charge attack works. Like, is it big damage once every second for example, or more like Ayaka's burst skill hitting a million times over and over again, which is kind of relevant for building for Vaporize versus Reverse Vaporize for example. Also his Hydro application is another factor there. There are just too many question marks for now, in my opinion. Last we have Hu Tao, which kind of sounds wrong. She does really good damage, but kind of single target heavy. I don't think that's necessarily a big deal, as I said earlier, but this combined with her very hit or miss gameplay and the fact that she has anti-synergy with healing makes her a little harder to recommend. Personally, I like her a lot, but I also picked up Constellation 1 the last time her banner came around, which of course is not a great selling point. Locking major gameplay alterations behind early Constellations feels almost criminal. There you have it. I think it's Wriothesley over Venti over Neuvillette over Hu Tao. No easy skips, but I strongly advise you to play the trials, especially for Neuvillette and Hu Tao, since their gameplay seems a little extraordinary. Alright, we made it to the end. I hope this helped you decide on which banner to wish on. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, stay tuned for more videos. Until then, have fun and bye bye.